Hi, and welcome to History's a Blast. We spent a night at the campground at Fort Walker, Virginia last night, and today we're driving down the Yorktown Peninsula where we'll spend the next 5 nights at Fort Story in Virginia Beach. And we're going to review the campground there for you, so come along. We decided to take the direct route, about a 4-hour tow, down US Route 17 to avoid the hell of I-95. But although this route was much more civilized, it did require us to deal with one of the 2 bridge and tunnel crossings to get from Hampton at the south end of the peninsula to Norfolk and Virginia Beach. And once we entered the more heavily populated area around Hampton, traffic got pretty heavy anyway. We made a snap decision to take the longer route across the Monitor Merrimack Memorial Bridge and tunnel, and later discovered that this was a wise move as the shorter direct route is always backed up in both directions. There are hazmat checkpoints on both routes where you have to stop and have your propane valves checked to ensure that they are off. But it was a short and easy process, and we were off on the last leg in a matter of minutes. It wasn't long before we were through the tunnel and circumnavigating Norfolk. It took about 40 minutes to make that circuit, but we were moving at highway speed, while it would have taken the same amount of time in stop-and-go bumper-to-bumper traffic had we taken the shorter route. Now, Fort Story is a gated military base, so its recreation facilities are only open to active duty and retired military families and certain classes of veterans. But it is possible to get a visitor's pass to tour 2 historic lighthouses that predate the establishment of the post during World War I. After we showed our military retiree IDs to the shore patrol guards and navigated the security barriers inside the gate, it was about a half-mile drive to the campground. We were assigned Site 3, an easy back-in site not far from the entrance. The campground has no sewer hookups, so you have to use the dump station outside the entrance, if like us you need to dump your wastewater tanks every 3 days. More on that later. We bought a Rhino tote trailer for this occasion and it worked just fine. And being only a couple hundred yards away from the dump station was a help as well. This was our campsite at the Fort Story MWR, that's Morale, Welfare, and Recreation Campground. Site number 3. It's a nice, clean, gravelly site. It's a little bit sloping down toward the passenger side. You can see well, you can't see it behind Alpie, but it needs to be leveled up about an inch on that side. Electric and water. The dump station is at the entrance, and it's unfortunately oriented away from outgoing traffic, which is interesting. It's got a fire pit, picnic table, well shaded as you can see, and it's similar to all the other sites surrounding us. There are a total of 23 RV sites, all with water and electric, and there are 3 cabins and a yurt back in there somewhere, I think. Shower house down the road. I'll walk over here to the intersection. The bathhouses are quite dated. The building itself looks like it might be a utility structure for power equipment or something like that. And when you walk in the entryway, it has a nice rug to wipe your feet, which is good because you're going straight into the shower dressing area from those doors. There's no private undressing stalls like they have in almost all campgrounds today. Just a shower stall right off of the public area and a Group W bench to get dressed and undressed on. But the nice thing about these showers is they have lips to keep the water from splashing out all over the floor outside the shower, which makes for a nice dry environment when you're climbing out after you've dried yourself off. So there's that. But all in all, these showers could use a complete update, if not just tearing down this building and building a whole new modern bathhouse. But we were satisfied. They were clean, the water was warm, the water pressure was just right, the toilets were kept clean, toilet paper in the commode stalls. There it is down there at the end of the road. It's about 150 yards, about a 3-minute walk. Here's a couple of the cabins, looking out toward the entrance. Nice quiet site. All in all, this is what we would call a 3-star campground oriented at the not KOA market. So govern yourselves accordingly. Some parting thoughts on location. 3 of the 5 major historic sites and museums that we visited while in this area were in or near Hampton and required making daily round trips across a bridge and tunnel. To keep mileage down, we were more or less forced to use the direct route, which added at least an hour and a half of high-stress driving to the trip each day. We were in traffic for 4 hours. 4 hours the day that we went to Jamestown, and that forced us to cancel plans to visit the Yorktown battlefield. Very frustrating. But, and this is a big but, camping in the Hampton-Williamsburg area is prohibitively expensive, to us anyway. There were military campgrounds at Fort Monroe and Fort Eustis on the peninsula, but Fort Monroe's is small, and it seemed to us to offer very few transient sites, while reviews of the Fort Eustis campground were pretty negative, and our satisfactory review of this campground should be enough to indicate how bad that is. So while we are not early risers, if we do ever come back this way, unless the Department of Defense's morale, welfare, and recreation attitude has a road to Damascus moment, we'll probably adopt Ben Franklin's advice and stay at Fort Story rather than pay the fees at commercial sites on that side. And Fort Story is ideally situated for ease of departure on the next leg of our trip south into North Carolina, which we hope you'll come back to watch video coverage of our future adventures around Hampton Roads and further south. See you soon.